This Nashville NASCAR betting recap edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. We are also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, still on location. However, I got to tell you guys, you make me feel like I am home. Everybody in the chat already. Jessica checking in saying, good evening, guys. JDK saying, hope you guys are fueled up for the show. We'll get to that in a second. Dos Flacos, cheers, boys. Been a minute since I could catch you here. Here to make sure Rod keeps the WWE references rolling. Don't you worry about that, Dos Flacos. I got plenty of them in the tank. But Cody, man, what a weekend.
What a weekend, Rod. What was the name of this track that we were just at?
I mean, it was the Nashville Superspeedway, right? And I think it lived up to his name.
See, we missed it, Rod. They tried to tell us in the name of the racetrack what betting on this race would be like. And we couldn't even catch the sign. We said in name only. We lied to you. And I would like to formally apologize.
I would very much love to endorse that apology because we said it too. We were like, oh, God, yeah, super speedway, not a super speedway. Nope. If you would have told me that we would have had a big one at Nashville, I would have told you were crazy. But I mean,
well, if you would have told me Zane Smith was finishing second place, Rod, then I would have approached this race much differently.
I don't know what his top 3 number was, but I'm here to tell you, I did not have the balls to even come close to that kind of a bet. But ran out of Gasville. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Hey, that's how it goes, Rod. That's what do you say after record-setting 5 overtimes, the entire field running out of fuel? Just how it goes.
What do you say, Cody? I've been wrestling with this for the last day and a half. Okay, not a half because they didn't give us a chance to be a half. You asked me. You said, hey, man, how do you feel about a recap show last night? I was like, brother, it's like clock where I'm at. There's no way I could do this and get it up by the time in a timely manner. I was like, I can't. I mean, this was a 6-hour race altogether, man.
Yeah, it was a very, very long race, Rod. I don't know. I think so. Alex Timms over from Dirty Mo Media, I think he put it best. He said, if you won your bets today, you deserve a beer. If you lost your bets today, have 3 or 10 because that shit was crazy. And I think that he put it very appropriately because that's how it goes. But yeah, we get the fucking. I almost brought my umbrella for the show, Rod, because we're gonna be talking about NASCAR. So I don't know if it's gonna start raining in the studio or what, but man, they just can't seem to avoid it. Obviously, we're going to a place this next week where rain was the storyline of the weekend. Hopefully, that won't be the case again this week. But yeah, it was made for a long day, 6 hours, and then obviously, it took 2.5 hours to do overtime. So
I swear, honestly. So look, I'm on the East Coast, right? And all of a sudden it just starts pouring out here too. And I was like, no, I am not in a NASCAR race. Please stop pouring where I'm at. So I can't wait to get back to the left coast where it's 110. It'll be 110 when I get home, but at least it won't feel like I'm walking into a sauna. So not necessarily looking forward to that. Let's tell you all about all of Nashville, but the latest episode of SGP Stories is out on Patreon. It's been a long time, so we're happy to see that back. The guys do a forensic files style deep dive on the Bobby Petrino motorcycle accident that cost him his job. Plus, make sure to check out the WA Gambling Podcast, as Terrell and Scott have started out red hot with their locks. I'm pretty sure all of them have to do with Caitlin Clark, but go check them out. They're definitely worthwhile. Cody, we talk about it. It wasn't just the Cup Series that had the twists and the turns and the frustrations. All three series had their fair share of just utter rip your hair out moments.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the Truck Series, you could say, was kind of the most calm in the fact that Christian Eckes led every single lap. First time that's been done since 2012. Timothy Peters did it. I think it was Bristol, is what they had mentioned on the broadcast. So it had been a long time since that had happened. And then, the Xfinity race was an Xfinity race, right?
It was more like I don't even know. Like, all right, let's do this, Cody. Let's start from the beginning, right? Would you want to start from the truck race, or do we want to start from the Cup race? Which way are we going in this one? I feel like it's just gonna be long either way. So I'll dealer's choice. Where do you want to start?
Let's. I don't care.
You want to go back to Friday night?
Let's go back to Friday.
Let's go back to Friday night. Friday night trucks in Nashville. Christian Eckes. I've never seen. This is a Max Verstappen-esque type of performance where he just started and led every single lap. But he didn't start for the pole. He started from third place.
Well, yeah, that's the crazy part. He didn't even start in the front row, and he led every single lap of the race. Right? I'm like, what? But it just, man, he had the truck to beat, and there was no beating him. He was just good. Should we get into the bets, Rob?
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with this.
Well, it's frustrating because, again, look, we talked about this in the Discord. Please, if you are not a part of the Discord, you need to join the Discord, because I swear to God, every 5 minutes that I logged in, there was 5,000 threads of conversation. That never stops in that Discord, and everybody in there is so fantastic and full of knowledge. But yeah, I mean, everybody was just like, what the hell over. And that's what this whole weekend was. But yeah, let's go over the bets, Cody. Let's start there.
Yeah, so we each picked a different side of Brennan Butter being queen, and it actually sort of worked out for us. I would say that I was the more correct one, and that he was not going to have a good day. He didn't have a good day, Rod. He finished in 19th place. I said that Rajah Caruth was going to beat him. Not even close. Rajah Caruth finishes in 4th place. Nice, strong day by Rajah Caruth. He was, 6th in stage 1, 3rd in stage 2. He was up there throughout the day. And yeah, this one was never really ever in doubt. Brennan Queen struggled a little bit. That's what you expected from the short track guy coming to the bigger track. We saw it with quad pull earlier this season. We saw it with quad pull on Saturday as well. Just didn't translate as well to these bigger tracks. They got to get used to them. So yeah, it worked out for me. And then you also had a head-to-head, Rod, that it worked out for you. Was it the right bet? Yeah, I'll let you decide on that one. But
I said to you, Cody, I said that there is a world in which this both can happen, where Rajah can beat Brennan and Brennan can beat Taylor Gray. Guess what? It happened. That's exactly what happened. Yes, but Taylor Gray started in 18th. Okay. It wasn't as if he came off the blocks the fastest, right? And in fact, Brendan Queen actually did qualify better than him in 12th. So this already was cashing right from the get-go. But this got cut short because Taylor Gray got caught up into it on lap 53, where he got into the 99 as well. So, I mean, he didn't get to run the entire race, but he wasn't necessarily going to be one of the fastest cars in this entire race. He wasn't up front. Like, Taylor Gray was not going to get there. So he got his nuts cracked because he was back with some of the squirrels, and both of ours cashed. So Cody, can't you just be happy with that?
Well, I can't, Rod, because I had Taylor Gray as a top 5 at 3-1, and that didn't cash. So, yeah, like you said, he wrecked 53 laps in the race. So just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it is. But I told you there was a world in which that would happen, but definitely that exactly happened. Jessica saying, "Thank goodness they didn't have weather tires." Would they have ran it on weather tires? It was
well, not at.
I'm glad though too, Jessica.
Well, yeah, because it's too big of a track for one, but then also like lightning hold was a lot of the problem too. It was just not just the rain. So I enjoy the fact that we have the wet weather tires as an option to get these races in, but I get your point as well.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to see them try it because we saw it last week and it just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. DM Punk saying betting. Well, okay, so I didn't really get a chance to weigh in on that. In that I think they should have given them the option right off of the jump, right when it became apparent that it could be slicks or weather or wet weather tires. Just give them the option. Don't make the decision for them. Give these guys the option.
Just quickly, DBC, they brushed over it very quickly, but they did mention on their podcast today that they think when we get to Richmond later this season, there's going to be option tires like they tried out at North Wilkesboro. So could be a little interesting strategy mixed into a points race. That's really what makes F1 a lot more exciting a lot of the time. So yeah.
I mean, you throw those soft tires on, you come down, lay down a fastest lap, and then you're golden, right? I mean, that's the way it is. DM Punk saying, betting this sport, you got to accept the guy you have money on will lead 299 laps and then crash, explode. No point guard ever caught fire or detonate. I mean, you're right. No point guard. I could just imagine Jordan going up for a shot and then just imploding.
Well, and that's why we get different numbers here, Rod, because it's you have those variables in it, and it's different than betting on any other sport because I mean it's Denny Hamlin can be on his way to just killing everyone and crushing it, and he was within he was within 3 laps of winning the race 4 different times maybe or whatever it was, 3 or 4 times, and it ends up not because that's just how it goes. So that's how it goes.
That is how it goes. Or how it goes is you start on the pole and then immediately drop back to like whatever place you drop back to. Stuart Friesen top 5, 5-1. Started on the pole. I thought, here we go, Stuart Friesen. Let's rock. And then he just, sort of hovered around the top 5 for a better part of the day. Stupid restarts, stupid everything. It just, it was so frustrating to be a Stuart Friesen fan at that point. Once he dropped out, and trucks were just passing him left and right. I mean, Garcia, Majeski, Mills, Rhodes, like all these guys were just using him up, man. He finished 11th place, not even close to a top 5 at the end of the day, but damn it, what could have been for Stuart Friesen?
Oh, what could have been, Rod? I had a couple of top 5s myself. One of them was Ben Rhodes. I was trying to find out where he finished, and I have to scroll a long ways.
7th. No, you don't.
Oh,
he finished 7th.
Did he really finish 7th? Oh, he did.
He did.
7th. So this one's closer than I thought it was. Well, because he was involved early with that Taylor Gray incident, and I'm like, God damn it, take out 2 of my bets right here. But yeah, I guess he did recover and ended up finishing. I think he was 6th in stage 2. So hung around close, doesn't cash, but a plus 260 to finish 7th, I'll take it. But the one I was excited about, Rod, 18-1 for Matt Mills, top 5, finishes in 8th place after starting dead last. It's heartbreaking that it doesn't cash. It's heartbreaking that we don't have top 10s because I would have bet that as well. So it sucks, but if you have an 18-1 that gets within 2 spots, that feels pretty good. It's the right bet to make. Let's tuck this in our back pocket and keep it in mind. Trucks will not be in action this week at Chicago, but they will be back next week at Pocono, which bit of an intermediate type of track, right? So Matt Mills could be a guy that we could target again there, and on other intermediates for sure going forward. Hopefully they continue to kind of overlook him a little bit because things worked out almost really well there with him finishing in 8th place. So really you can't ask for too much more for a guy that was 18-1. So great bet. Doesn't hit, but not all good bets cash, Rod. That's how it goes. That's why we go through these, because you're looking back at the process, and this was a good bet to make, just didn't hit.
And let's be perfectly honest with you. Who thought Daniel Dye would be a 2nd place truck at the end of the day? That just, if you had a top 3 on Daniel Dye, I want to see that ticket
Did
one.
you see the guy who had the top Chevy?
Yes.
Was it top Chevy and top 5 on Zane Smith in the Cup race? Like, what
Insane.
horrible bets those were that actually I guess they're not horrible because they cash, but you got to take flyers and just, man.
And yet they're thumping their chest like mad. And listen, hey,
well, they should. Fuck. Yeah.
To you. But
if
like,
you hit that bet, throw it out there. It's like, I guess they saw the chaos angle. I don't know why you would make that bet, but hey, I'm glad it hit for that person. And
you know why? You know why? They've placed that bet every single time, and that is the one time that it actually hit. They haven't shown you. They haven't shown you the 15 times that they did it before.
Yeah, but still, even if you place that bet 15 times for that price, you're still
coming out
on top. So,
all right, we'll get back into our bets, but first, let's tell you about Underdog Fantasy Pick 8 is now live. You could create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog's going to automatically double flex those entries, so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. We don't recap Underdog on this one, but there was a couple of them that I wish I would have had back. Thank God for double flex. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. And the best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can use specials and boosts now on all of your flex entries. Cannot wait to make more pick 8 picks. We're definitely going to give you a whole ton of them for Chicago as we get down to the end of the week. So don't miss your chance to try it out before it's all gone. Sign up today with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Of course, Circa contests have no rake, zero, zits, nada. Circa Millions, pick 5 NFL teams against the spread each week and compete for $6 million to survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere in the world. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP. Don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football? Don't worry. Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out, hang with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sportsbook in the world, August 22nd through August 24th. Not going to lie to you, Cody. Every single time I read open bar, I want to be there already. There's no way that I don't want to be there.
Agreed, Ron. Over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, by the way, there is 2 articles up. One for the Circa Survivor, picking the first 6 weeks of the Survivor contest. Even if you're not going to make it to Vegas and play in the Circa one, you can use that in your own personal Survivor challenge as well. And also the 5 ATS picks for the week 1 of the Circa Millions over there on that article. So go check those out.
Who wrote those?
Yes, I did. That's right, Rod. You can also find the hot dog eating contest, the underdog picks. There's a lot of good stuff over there. So make sure you're checking it all out. Jessica says she can't wait to see our picks for the Chicago street race.
I can't either.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what we pick too. Sean checking in, first time catching the show live.
Hey, Sean.
The work you guys do. Went Gregson top 10 plus 310. We'll talk about that in a few. I wish I would have taken them top 10 too, but that's okay. Glad you took it. And yeah, glad you're here. JDK says you got to think how many bets they make for their head and stuff like that. Hey, sometimes throwing stuff out, big stuff, as long as you hit every once in a while, that's what matters. CT says, what's up, guys? What do you think about the odds that just dropped for Chicago? SVG 8-1. Yeah, a little surprised, kind of being disrespected. I would say if you want to get it, you probably better take it early. Because I think everybody and their brother is going to be betting on him. I don't know that I'm going to bet on him. I do have a bet that I really like, Rod. That's a long shot. It's posted over in the Discord. So sg.pn/Discord. Get over there if you want to get in early on a long shot guy that I think could do some damage. Your brother checking in, open bar at Circa in August. He'll start walking now. And
I'll walk with you, brother. Hey, we know you're coming to pick me up from the airport, so we might as well just drive right there.
And JDK wants to make sure you get some inroads with the 9 team to unfortunately Hooters and Hendrick Motorsports have parted ways after Hooters trouble. And JDK wants you to make sure that Applebee's gets on the car to replace that. And he figured you're the official spokesperson for Applebee's. So great thing there. But
I love their happy hour. That's exactly why I like them. So I do appreciate a good half price appetizer and half price drink. So
this is the question of the day right here. Jessica wants to know who she thinks would win in a hot dog eating contest.
Between me and Cody?
Well, yeah, that's obviously the question.
Oh, come on now. That's easy. That's you all day.
I am the much bigger person, so yeah.
It's not even that, man. It's not even that. I watched Joey Chestnut once do an asparagus eating contest when in our hometown. There's deep fried asparagus. He ate deep fried asparagus. I will never competitive eat it again after watching that. It was disgusting.
I mean, we both obviously, I would imagine, can eat pretty quickly because we've been in the military and that's trained.
Oh yeah.
But like, I'm not doing the dip it in water and sliding down the throat thing. I don't have I could eat some fucking hot dogs. I'll tell you that. Like, I don't have a problem there. But anyway, back to the bets, Ron.
Yes, please. Before we start to really eat some hot dogs. What did you have next, Cody? No, that was me. It was me. I'm sorry, it was on me. I had another top 5 bet. Top 5 hot dog eatings. No, I had Tyler Ankrum as the top 5. And Cody, where did Tyler Ankrum finish?
That's a great question, Rod. Tyler Ankrum finished in 5th place.
Correct. That means the bet cashed. I was so excited about this one. He started in 14th. Look, Tyler Ankrum was he hung around. Like he was in the top 10 at the end of stage 1. He was in the top 10 in the end of stage 2. Like he was nowhere near winning this race, and he was nowhere near like actually competing, but he was the beneficiary of a lot of this other stuff that was happening late in the race. These 114 lap caution, that kind of bunched the field back up again. He found himself back inside of the top 5. So this 18 truck, Cody, I think is really going to be, he's going to catch fire again. And I think he's going to be a better truck than he was over the course, but top 5 at 4-1, very excited to have that one cash at least.
Well, 3 of the top 5, Rod, were McAnally Hilgeman trucks. Daniel Dye, don't forget, is also in one of those trucks.
Yeah.
It seems crazy to think because we kind of look at him at a different level, but he's in one of those trucks too. Those trucks looked fast all night. So, got to give him props for all 3 getting in the top 5 there, and a great call by you. I had a couple of top Chevy bets. Christian Eckes at +210, Raja Caruth at 8-1. These were 2 of the top 3 Chevys, Rod. Caruth at 8-1 in 4th place. I'll take that every day. Obviously doesn't cash, but Christian Eckes wins the race. +210 it cashes. This was one of my ways to hedge off of not picking Eckes as the outright in case Heim took this race and won it, which I think he could have done if his pit crew didn't fuck it up, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But this was another way to get in on Eckes at a decent price and hedge the bet if he doesn't win but finishes right there. He obviously wins, catches it. You still got a great number at +210. And then Raja as your backup bet at 8-1. Finishing right there and being quick as well. I think it was a good call on both sides of this.
Yeah, I mean, look, Daniel Dye is not a guy that's usually in 2nd place. So if you take him out of the mix, and if Christian Eckes blows up or, I don't know, runs out of fuel.
That's what you're looking for when you're taking these top manufacturer bets that aren't the favorite is if something happens to Kyle Larson. Well, it does. If something happens to Justin Allgaier, well, it does, right? That's what you're looking for. And didn't happen here, but luckily we had him anyways. So you ended up pretty covered both directions.
Yeah, and we both had said if it's not Heim Eckes if it's not really Heim and Eckes, I guess, right? Then definitely know who it's going to be. It ended up being Eckes, and did it end up being Eckes. Speaking of which, I had Nick Sanchez as a top 3 truck at 2-1. What could have been, Cody? I mean, they didn't even get a shot. Like he barely.
That's what sucks. That's what sucks is he didn't get a shot. You wreck the truck in qualifying. You have to go to the backup truck. I mean, backup truck's fine, but at the truck series, like it's not going to be prepared at a cup level like the cup backup is. He still starts dead last, finds his way, avoids the early shit, right? They wrecked on lap 2 and lap 6, I think. And he barely avoided that first one. Finds his way all the way up to 13th. Like, had a good day. Had he had a shot at this, then maybe something would have happened. But it just kind of, it's one of those things you chalk up to bad luck. That's how it goes. Sometimes you get the good breaks. Sometimes you get the bad breaks. And that was the bad break.
That was a definitely bad break. Jessica saying, add another thing to the bingo card. What are we adding to the bingo card, Jessica? That bingo card's got to be like
all of it. It's
a mile deep at this point. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna go a while without getting bingo at that point.
We need to get those in the SGP store. Just some racing bingo cards with all this weird shit that we haven't seen. It's actually
on a shirt.
Yeah. Ooh, there you go.
Ooh. Okay. Who would buy one? Who would buy one?
Yeah, let us know if you want one of those. I had winning car number 10-19, Rod. This covered you. Heim, Eckes, Ankrum up there as well.
And yeah, obviously Eckes leads wire to wire. So it cashes -110. This was another way. If you're betting on Heim outright, which I did, cover yourself with Heim and with Eckes. I can't believe they still been pricing this at -110. I don't know that we're going to continue to see this number going forward.
No. Unfortunately for me, Heim didn't get that win, and neither did any truck underneath the 15.5 threshold. So that one didn't cash. And yeah, we'll just move on.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes, Rod. I did have Corey Heim at 2-1. He ends up finishing in third. He started a little bit farther back. He's in seventh, though, not that bad. Charged right up there, right? He had gotten up to second behind Eckes for a little while there. They come in for the pit stops, falls a bunch of spots. Climbs back up again. Pit stops. It cost him. And really, I think that's what cost his chance. He had gotten up to second past Dye late, and then Dye got back around him. So I don't know if he necessarily had the truck had he caught Eckes at any point. But I feel like we didn't get a fair shot at seeing it, unfortunately. But it's hard to regret ever going all in on Corey Heim because he's just fucking good, and he was still good. Managed a third place finish. That's how it goes. We covered ourselves elsewhere with the Eckes part of things, which I obviously worked out well for us. So Taylor Gray 20-1. We documented that early in the race. He was out early, unfortunately. So just kind of how it goes.
Indeed. Did we win the fantasy matchup? Do you have that pulled up?
I can pull it up I'll pull it up as we continue to talk.
Yeah, pull it up. I'll go over to Rhythm. We'll tell you about that. If you're betting on player props and you need to download Rhythm, Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter, data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. Rhythm predictions have been red hot for WNBA and golf, so go claim that 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, Cody, did we beat him?
We didn't beat them, Rob. We destroyed them.
Thank you very much. That's what I was
394 points to 237. But see, they're getting desperate, which is they have to, right? So they played Nick Sanchez instead of taking a Heimer and Eckes to try to be different, to try and catch. Obviously, doesn't work out very good. They played Taylor Gray, which did not go well. Obviously, he wrecked out early. Dean Thompson was also in a wreck. They played Raja, which was good for them, but we played Corey Heim. He still scored a shit ton of points. We played Matt Mills. We just talked about his great finish. Stuart Friesen had a great finish, plus he gets the bonus points for sitting on the pole, I think. And Raja, who had a great day. So we were 4 for 4. They were 1 for 4. And yeah, boy, it's kind of getting out of hand at this point. I don't know when we mercy rule them, but yeah, so we now have a almost 300 point lead in the regular season. But as we've proved multiple times, like one race, things can change very fucking quickly. Like you can have a big swing like that. So we need to not take our foot off the gas, Rod, and keep our foot on their throat.
I will. Speaking of Sanchez, I had him as an outright plus 750. That did not happen. We talked about that at length already. All right, Cody, let's move on. Let's put that truck race behind us. Let's move on to the Xfinity race. I'd like to put this one behind us as well. Cody, this Xfinity race, I don't even know what to make of it right now, because to me, I thought it was great racing. I thought there was a lot. I mean, there was 4 lead changes, but I still felt like there was great racing because there was about 6.5 green flag passes per lap. So there was still action on the track, but not where it really mattered. And that was between 3 drivers that, could have had it and didn't have it. And I don't know, Cody. I don't know what the takeaway from this race is.
John Hunter Nemechek's good in Gibbs equipment, I guess, is your takeaway. I don't know.
But see, that's the thing that sort of like stuck with me, because I was the one that was like, I don't like John Hunter Nemechek in this week. And then he goes out and freaking.
I did try to remind you that he was on JJR equipment, but you didn't listen. So, all right, Rod, let's get to the bets. I had Sammy Smith over Carson Kvapil at -120.
Yeah, I mean, quad pole 12th place, and that's kind of I figured he'd be somewhere 10th to 20th. Like at the end of the day, he starts in 30th. He fought hard and came up through the field and had an okay day, but not as good as he'd had the 3 top 5s in the short tracks. That's what you wanted. Sammy Smith just did not have a chance right from the start. I don't remember did he get penalized? God, I don't even remember what happened to him, but it was like
right out of the gate,
very early in the race. He had an issue. He falls like multiple laps down, and there was just like no way he was ever going to come back from it. So, yeah, just kind of got fucked there. I was right on the qual pole part of things, but obviously Sammy Smith having issues early. It was such an early thing that I just blocked it out of my mind because I was like, wow, how fucked could you possibly get this early in the race? But that's how it goes.
Yeah. So for me, the same thing. Like, I don't know that I'm going to fall for the aw shucks, big glasses, Sheldon Creed anymore. I stuck my neck out for Sheldon Creed. I defended the Californian Canadian
I think it's the short tracks. Like, I think we gotta not play him on these not short tracks. Like that, there seems to be, and I gotta go back and look more, but it seems like he's had really, really good results at the short tracks and even the super speedways. But like these intermediates, just not good. And I don't know. I mean, Almirola didn't like the intermediate package of JGR. Now Gibbs and Nemechek don't seem to have an issue with it. But I don't know.
Or
Maybe
Chandler,
if you don't have enough talent, well, that's the
well,
depending
it is
on the
Sheldon
day,
Creed.
but
I love you, Sheldon Creed. But I had Austin Hill. I had Sheldon Creed over Austin Hill. Austin Hill turns in one of those top 5 days that we talked about him not really enjoying much on this track. But there he goes, and he turns in one of those top 5 days. It's just Austin Hill. I mean, that's really, I mean, JDK taking about it's the driver. Creed sucks. I mean, I should not have stuck
he
my neck
does,
out
but
for
he
him.
doesn't.
No.
You got to pick and choose your spots. I don't know.
He's look at Sheldon
not
Creed.
The
Sheldon
biggest
Creed is like
mistake
me.
here.
Sheldon Creed is like me in elementary school. I have all the potential in the world, but I just don't live up to it.
I mean, yeah, there's that. The biggest thing here is don't fade Austin Hill, Rod. I think we should have learned our lesson on that by now.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take that lesson and I'll go with it. Maybe I'll do it again, but who knows?
Well, if it wasn't for the Nashville Heat, this next bet would have cashed, Rod. Riley Herbst, top 5 plus 350. I think he might have died inside of the car, came back to life, and drove all the way back through the field to 6th place. I mean, they took the penalty of pitting too early to get that water out of the cool suit. A lot of guys were having issues with the cool suits on Saturday. That was a little concerning. They need to get that figured out. But a lot of guys having issues. Nobody worse issues than Herbst did. Man, he just like I sounded like he was like losing his vision and everything. And so like as soon as they got that caution flag, he comes down, they fix everything. But that's you have to start the rear of the field then. But he marches all the way back to 6th place. What could have been had he not been getting burned alive in that car, unfortunately. So plus 350 to finish 6th. The what could have been is the part that really sucks.
Yeah, Riley Herbst sweating like somebody who can't pay their PG&E bill for the better part of the summer. Yeah, it was frustrating for him. Boy, when you saw him get out of the car, though, too, that was the other thing. Like, they were showing him getting out and just putting ice on him, and he was dumping water on himself. He did not look right.
Well, he's standing there talking to TV, and I'm like, maybe they should take him to the infield care center. Like, this guy obviously had some issues during the race. Like, he doesn't look good. My wife's like, is he okay? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, there's a fucking hospital in the middle of the track. Like, let's take him there and get some fluids in there. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, they're like, hey, Riley, we noticed that your brain is fried. How are you feeling right now? What can you put into words exactly what's going through your head?
There's some media obligations, but like the guy needs some help. Like, let's go get him some fluids. Jesus Christ.
Hang on. NBC wants a word with you while you bake right here in the Nashville sun. All right. I had Sam Mayer as a top 5 car. Sam Mayer ends up as a top 10 car. He started 21st. It had some problems in qualifying. This race, Cody, only had 1 caution for cause. There was 3 cautions.
There was 10 last year in the same race?
Yes.
And 1 this year for
1.
cause.
1 for cause.
Crazy.
The other 2 were for stage breaks. It just, unbelievable. I don't know what could have happened if Sam Mayer would have gotten a couple more cautions to catch up. Pit stops, the ones that happened were pivotal in this. They were, people lost spots.
Well, yeah.
Ty Gibbs, right?
Track position was huge because you didn't have those cautions to bunch things back up and get those good opportunities to pass. And when you start farther back, like a guy like Mayer, that really kind of hurts things. So Ryan Sieg, top 5 plus 1,400, Rod. This is a great bet. Continues to be a good bet. We need to continue to place it. He comes out and qualifies in 3rd place. You know he's got the speed. You know he's got the car. And he finishes 11th. It doesn't cash this, but still 11th at 1401 for a top 5. Not a bad spot to finish. If you end up with some late, and I mentioned this when I gave the bet out, he's probably not just going to, although I think he has the capability to run there on speed, he's probably not going to just run there on speed. But if you get those late cautions and chaos and we go to 5 overtimes, guess who's coming out in the end of it? It's Ryan Sieg, because he's really good at that kind of stuff. So yeah, if he continues to be priced this way on intermediate tracks, I've seen enough from him this year. 14-1, continue to sign me up. So it doesn't cash this week, but we'll continue to stay on the Ryan Sieg top 5 train.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks. Jessica talk about H2O. This just in, Cody. AJ Allmendinger's pit crew has been replaced by Valtteri Bottas's crew because they are faster than AJ Allmendinger's crew. You want to talk about, and you know I love me some AJ Allmendinger. I love the fire. I love the passion.
So good too. You were so right, Rod. And I'm like, God damn, I'm gonna have to hear about how Rod was right and how fucking good AJ was. He's gonna win in this race. Rod's gonna be right. I'm like, God damn.
You were prepped for it, because guess what? It definitely was true. AJ Allmendinger was the best driver outside of John Hunter Nemechek on that track on Saturday night. His pit crew, get out of here with your Ty Gibbs nonsense. AJ Allmendinger would have ran them both down. I don't care. But I swear to God, that 900-second stop on AJ Allmendinger's, what was it, the second stop, or maybe it was the third stop? I think it was the third stop.
I think it was the last stop.
Yeah.
Just lost a ton of track position.
Got to overcome it.
And killed their day, which it sucks for that team, because obviously they're struggling with a lot of stuff. So it could probably be a good week for them here coming up. So I'm sure we'll talk about plenty going into Chicago. Top Chevy, Rod, fucking Jesse Love, you stupid motherfucker. I had Sammy Smith plus 750. This was killed early, right? We already talked about Sammy Smith, but Austin Hill at 5-1. The value was there. What happens if it's not Allgaier? What happens if it's not these other guys at the top, Rod? Well, it wasn't them. It was Austin Hill in 3rd place in the closing laps. And then Jesse Love passes him. And, that just kills it. It would have saved a little bit of my day if Austin Hill could have been the top Chevy at 5-1. Unfortunately, not the top Chevy at 5-1, but remains a good bet. If we continue to get big numbers on Austin Hill, you got to take him, because he shows up and just puts things together. He was the only guy after that. Okay, I take that back. Him and AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger looked like he hadn't even started the race. He just walked out of the bus. He's like, oh yeah, great day. Drink my Celsius. Oh, Picker sucks. Here we go. And Austin Hill, a big dude, big country, right? And it's oh yeah, good dude, solid day, hardly breaking a sweat. I'm like, man, these guys are in shape.
Yeah, that's the thing too. These guys, Joe, drink my Celsius. I'll get there. You got to give mad props to Jesse Love. Started 38th on the grid and wound up with a 3rd place finish. On a day, Cody, on a day when passing on the track was almost, strategy for Jesse Love, coming out with those tires at the end, just mowing through the field. Gotta hand it.
Go back and you fucking listen to the pick show, Rod. I said, I'm looking for some value here. I really like Hill at 5-1. I looked at Jesse Love at 12-1, but he hasn't been good on the intermediate track, so I'm going to pass on him. I'm going to go with Sammy Smith. The 12-1 would have cashed. By the way, it was 69 cars that he passed.
Nice.
I don't know if you heard his post-race interview. He said that Twitter was going to have a fun time with that. So I love him shouting out the 69 reference. So that was great. But yeah, looking back, obviously, I had the thought and I researched my way out of Jesse Love, which was unfortunate, but that's how it goes.
That is how it goes. I had AJ Allmendinger top 5. That was the one that I had. Plus 375. Thought he was going to do it. I had Herbst as a top 3 car at 8-1. If he was not roasting on the 7th layer of hell, he very well could have been a third place car, but he does end up 6th.
This was a good bet. He definitely could have done. I mean, getting all the way back up to 6th after having to go to the back and everything with no cautions, with no ways to get track position, like, what could have been with Riley Herbst. So it's unfortunate. Again, sometimes racing gods are on your side, sometimes they're not. Rod, top Toyota. I took Reddick and Creed as the longer shots, plus 550 and 8-1. We talked about how they were probably going to not be the top Toyotas, but because it's a small group, just in case somebody has problems, case in point, Ty Gibbs, you got these longer shots now. Obviously, Nemechek and Smith go 1-2, so it doesn't matter anyways. But plus 550, 8-1. I don't hate it. Obviously, Creed had a horrible day. We talked about that already, finishing in 33rd. And Reddick, 26th, or not 26th. He was in the 26th car, but 14th. We knew that it was going to be risky with him in that car. That's why his numbers were bigger. But we said the same thing about Noah Gragson. He finished 5th. So, yeah, that's how it goes, Rob.
I had Chevy winning manufacturer. I'll stand by that because the next 2 cars after the top 2 Toyotas were both Chevys. Jesse Love, Austin Hill, and of course, AJ Allmendinger, we talked about, was one of the fastest cars on the track. Would have freaking won if his doggone pit crew would have just actually done something. Hell, I would have even taken 2 tires out of that stop. I wouldn't even have cared because I think he still would have done it on 2 tires, but whatever.
Well, I've taught you nothing, Rod. You don't fade the Toyotas in the Xfinity Series, but here we are. Outrights for me, I had Tyrone Gibbs plus 450. Starts on the pole, leads a ton of laps, wins stage 1. Things are looking good. Bad pit stop, gets caught up in the shit, and that was the end of his day. Reddick, we just talked about, 12-1. Again, didn't really show up. Herbst at 30-1. Would have liked to see it if we got another late caution, maybe. And if he wouldn't have had the cool suit issues and all that, obviously. I also tossed out the Tyler Reddick sweep at 120-1. He finishes 3rd place. One more lap, he would have won the Cup Series race in that 5th overtime there. But obviously nowhere close to winning this one. So, yeah, that's how it goes.
It's weird, Cody. I don't have anything in my outright square, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip over that. I don't know what happened to it. It must have gotten erased, so I don't remember who I took. Oh yeah, never mind. I took Ross.
I tried
Chastain.
to tell you that Watermelon's not good this time of year, but
no, especially not in the Xfinity Series. That 92 truck was nowhere near. Qualified in 20th, ended up 27th. Yeah,
but said the same thing about the fucking 30 car, and Noah Gragson was good. So
he was freaking
amazing. I don't get it, but. All right, Rod. I think those were the only 2 races on the weekend. So
that was it.
We'll see.
Nothing else happened. Nothing else happened.
No. So the Cup race, obviously, like we can breeze through the picks, but 5 overtimes, everybody running out of fuel. I mean, it's really. I guess you could sort of judge the picks based on how things were with 2 laps to go in the. Before overtimes, but
can you though? Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because it's the variables that go into it. So
yeah,
I don't know, but well, let's breeze through them, Rod. I had Bubba Wallace over Kyle Busch plus 100. This one did hit. Bubba. Well, Kyle looked. Yeah, they said it on the broadcast, Rod. Kyle just can't catch a fucking break. But then I don't understand how he gets put back into 4th place late on that deal. Like he was clearly involved in that wreck, and then all of a sudden he's back in a 4th, and TV's even like, what the hell is going on? Now it worked out poorly for him. It probably would have been better if he went to the back because then he ends up in the next wreck. So I don't know, but again, it was just fading Kyle Busch's shitty luck, and it worked. So Bubba, things actually kind of worked out for them. They play the early strategy. Looks like he's going to get a good finish. We go to overtime, immediately get gas. Well, 5 overtimes later, he's all the way back up front. So 7th place run for him. Unfortunately, for their playoff situation, things got drastically worse with Logano winning a race because he locks himself into the playoffs, as NBC will tell you, and kicks Bubba underneath the cutoff line at 51 points now.
I mean, 15 cautions for 79 laps. There was 300 laps scheduled. We ran 331. Nick says, my brother, it was 5 too many. Should the limited restarts be a thing? Does this relate to betting at all? Yeah, it does, obviously.
Well, it affects the betting, obviously, but
yeah.
I have strong thoughts on this, Rod. all the outrages. We have to limit this. Why do we have 5? How many times have we had 5 overtimes, Rod, in the history of unlimited attempts? Once. One time it's happened.
Well, yeah.
Don't fucking overreact. We used to have the stupid rule where you race back to the line on the back stretch. That was dumb. We capped it at 3 for a while. That was dumb. These are big fucking boys. They can handle it. Obviously they can't, but they should be able to handle it. I mean, this just had there was extra elements too. Like, you don't get that second caution if Kyle Larson doesn't run out of fuel on the front row. It stacks the whole field up. And then other people are running out of fuel. I mean, at least 2 of those cautions were people running out of fuel. So that's just how it goes. Let's not overreact. Now, if we're 3 weeks into 5 overtimes in a row, okay, let's look at the rule. Let's consider changing it. It happened once. It made for an exciting. I was entertained, Rod. Not great for the bets. Although, for some people it was. I know our buddy Nico down under, he got Logano. Their odds are weird over there. It was like 23 to 1 or something, or 23 to a half. I don't know what it was exactly, but he hit a big ticket over there, so that was great. And some people hit Zane Smith, Top Chevy, whatever. I love it, but we don't need to change it. And as far as the betting goes, like, that's the risk, right? And going into any week, any time, it can rain, and we can end up on rain tires. It can be rain shortened. A guy can leave to have a baby, as we almost had with Stenhouse before this race. Like, things can happen. There's variables. And like whoever was earlier in the chat said, the point guard doesn't just blow up usually during a basketball game, but things happen differently in racing. That's how it goes. So it's part of it, but I think you leave the overtime alone, Rod.
Yeah, and I still hold fast to the fact that NASCAR was trying to make up for the fact that they cut out laps from the 600, so they were just trying to tack them on to this Nashville race. They're like, you know what, we need to make up all these extra laps. We'll just put them on Nashville. And look, you usually don't get like an hour and a half rain delay for lightning and all the other good stuff on this as well. So a lot of factors go into it. I had Ryan Blaney over William Byron. This one cashed, and this one was going to cash. I don't care what happened to anything. Ryan Blaney obviously led 26 laps of this race, was one of the fastest cars all day long, ended up in 6th. Had to end up putting fuel in that car as well. William Byron was there. He was in the top 10 at the end of stage 1, not necessarily at the end of stage 2.
Though, like, they're telling you, Rod, we talked about this in the underdog episode. That 24 car is just off right now. I don't know what it is, but and again, the results not necessarily indicative of the race. He wasn't that good during the race either. So
no,
I think we're going
to finish 19th overall. And again, well, I am, because like I said, this is exactly why we talked about it. I said Ryan Blaney, good on this track, has been good recently. William Byron started hot, has trailed off, and this is evident in this. The confidence to just pass cars at random is not there anymore. So he's qualified well, and that was great, right? He qualified in 7th, but he didn't hang on to it. And Ryan Blaney had an opportunity to win this race too. That was the depressing part for him as well.
Yeah. Their fuel guy, Rod. Not the guy who puts the fuel in, but the calculation guy. Because they gambled and weren't even going to have enough to make it till the end. And then, he ends up recovering for a decent finish, but that should have gone much worse for them because they had to pit under the green flag late. Like, who's calculating your fuel? And maybe they were just hoping that they got some cautions. Because, really, the end of this race didn't have cautions for a long stretch until obviously we end up with 5 overtimes. But I don't know. The fuel questioning, or it's very questionable over there with those guys, I guess. So I don't know.
Well, there was 50 laps between lap 249 and 299 without a caution. 299 is when we got that right. Last, the one lap to go. There was that caution.
We had a long stretch, and that's when Blaney was running. I think he was 2nd at the time, but ends up having to pit because they weren't anywhere close. And I don't know, but oh well. Anyways, Rod, moving on. Noah Gragson, top 5, 12-1. Should have just took the top 10. Got too cute. He does recover for the 10th place finish. He was 10th in stage 2, so he was kind of running around in there. He had that little run in with somebody. I don't remember who it was, but somebody bounced off of him and ended up. Actually, that might have been Cinder that caused the overtime thing. I'm pretty sure it was. I think they were running about 18th and 19th at that point in time. So Probably, wasn't going to catch the top 5, obviously, but recovers for 10th. Whatever. I'll take it. Alex Bowman, top 10 at where'd it go? Plus 220. He ends up finishing in 14th. I don't really remember anything notable from Alex Bowman on the day, so I really have nothing else, Rod.
No, that Ally car was not necessarily one of the better ones on the entire day. Not notable at all.
It was not an ally for the Ally race.
No, it was not. But he was top 10 a couple of times there late in the race. Just with all of the nonsense that was going on.
I think everybody was top 10 at the end of the race at some point.
Yeah, they were. I would no longer like to acknowledge one. I don't have my bleep button here, so I can't bleep out his name. Because now he is blackbarred from this particular show.
Well, I think are you skipping a bet first, Rob?
Probably, because I don't want to talk about any of these. No, I'm getting there. I'm getting exactly where I was.
You're gonna bleep out your favorite driver?
No, I'm bleeping out Daniel Hemrick, the other colleague guy. Daniel Hemrick finishing in 9th for some ungodly reason. And I'm also going to punch Noah Gragson in the face. But Noah, I want you to punch me back. Know that when I punch you in the face, it's not because I hate you. It's because I absolutely love you. And, if I condition, I could take it. But we'll still have a beer afterwards. Both of those drivers should not have finished in front of AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger was another guy in this race running around the top 5, right? He was actually a top 5 car at one point. All I needed him was a top 10. And that last restart just dropped like a rock. Did not finish inside of the top 10. The last lap there got passed by Gragson. Cost me a AJ Allmendinger top 5 or top 10 rather at 5-1. He finishes one spot outside of it in 11th. Heartbreak.
That is heartbreaking. Your brother says I was top 10. I was on foot. Can't run out of fuel if you're on foot, true. Rod. It's a good strategy to have. I had a couple of top 10
Drink
shots.
Celsius.
I had a couple long shot top 10s, and looking at the way this race ended, long shot top 10s were definitely things you should have had because Zane Smith, Ryan Preece, Daniel Hemrick all finished inside the top 10. So if you had those guys, great. Unfortunately, I didn't. I had Todd Gilliland. He finished in 17th, not too far out of there. Justin Haley, he ends up with another 13th place finish. Wasn't running that good for sure, but he ends up getting in there. So and then Stenhouse at 16-1. He did get wrecked out. I can't remember if I think his was one of the overtime wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he ends up in 30th at the end of the day. So none of these hit, but long shot top 10s I don't think were a bad strategy this week because of the chaos that we had.
I'm done. I don't. There's no other bets that I made on this thing. No, I had Chastain top 5 car plus 125. Just don't know.
I don't even know how to feel about this bet.
No,
because it shouldn't have hit. He wasn't great throughout the day.
But it doesn't matter.
But then it should have hit because they play the perfect strategy. He's leading late. Denny gets around him fine. He's going to finish second. Then, like 2 overtimes into it, he's still going to finish second. And then Larson, the most talented driver in the world, Rod, but the most mistake, I think he's too talented. He's too good at what he does. And it costs him so much. And
you know what he is?
Chastain this time.
He's Maverick in Top Gun. Like, he flies by the seat of his pants. He literally does that split S when all he needs to do is just, select zone 6 and bug out and go home. That's all he needed to do was stay on the freaking track, not get on the apron and tap the one car and cost a top 5. You're right. Chastain was not a car that should have been anywhere near the top 5 all day long. But when he got there, he earned that spot and he kept that spot. And he was, 45 laps he led in this race, this 331 lap race. So, he belonged up front. And yeah, if Denny gets by him, okay. I was pissed when Denny got by him because it cost him the win, which I, spoiler alert, had picked him to win. I picked him to win both races. This one was a stronger one than the last one that he should have been able to do it. But a top 5 for Ross Chastain, if Kyle Larson would have just not performed the split S, would not have gone from the top rope and would have just, settled for a choke slam and win the match. But no, Larson tried to go for the whole thing. He tried to climb the ladder and grab the belt when all he needed to do was just pin the guy. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that you nailed everything there, Rod. So I'm just going to move on. Looking at some of these bets, I did plan for some chaos, I guess, because I had some long shots in here. Top Ford, I had Cindric and McDowell. Cindric obviously gets spun late. But when you end up with guys like Zane Smith finishing in second, Ryan Preece is the next top Ford after Logano obviously wins, but Preece in fourth place. So I don't know that those were bad bets. McDowell transmission obviously let loose, so unfortunate for him. Bowman top Chevy 25-1. This is the type of race that you expect Bowman to win, I guess, but obviously we talked about him wasn't really in the mix. But Smith in second ends up being the top Chevy, but then Larson in eighth place was the next best Chevy after the dust settled from the chaos. And I am notorious notating the WWE reference. So for our friend Dos Flacos, there you go. It's 56 minutes in, but Rod got it.
I had to figure it out. I was like, oh my God, I'm running out of time.
I don't even know what the reference was because it slipped right past me, but that's actually a good thing, I think.
It just means that you actually have a life outside of other sports that I don't. So congrats to you, my friend.
Yeah, I'm writing about Tour de France and lacrosse and hot dog eating. So I definitely have a life out.
I was like, congrats to you knowing what the outside world looks like. I had Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, both top 5 cars. Both of them were top 5 cars at points of the day. A couple of times they were actually top 5 at
whichever time Elliott wasn't sliding through the grass, he was top 5.
And that's exactly it. Like all of a sudden, Elliott decides he wants to play in the grass, right? He saw a dandelion and chased after it and was like, "Ooh, dandelion!"
He did it twice.
Yeah, and there it was. He finished 18th on the day. We know what Kyle Larson did. Kyle Larson was highway to the danger zone and didn't decide he wanted to drive properly. So this did not hit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rod, I believe, double checking, where did Austin Dillon? Oh yeah, he ended up getting wrecked. So we end up 2 for 3 on the Caesars backdoor over unders, but I feel like we should have been 3 for 3. Austin Dillon was running top 10 until late, under 24.5. Starts 11th place. So you're feeling really good about it. Was caught up in one of those wrecks, finished in 30 seconds, so didn't cash. Corey LaJoy, better than 28.5. Looked like he maybe had a shot to win this race late. They ended up pitting for some weird voltage issue or something. He can't catch a break either, but he was right there with Zane Smith, so could have been finishing in second place. I was a little bit, just a little tiny bit, Rod. I go, oh, here we go. Logano's going to run out of fuel. LaJoy will be in second place. He's going to win his first race. It's going to be at Nashville, not even a true super speedway. But our boy Harrison Burton, Rod, where did Harrison Burton finish? God damn it, he didn't finish. Yeah, he did. No, wait. Yeah. He squeaked it in.
Yeah, he did.
28th place for Harrison Burton. Better than 29.5. That's 2 weeks in a row we've cashed bets on Harrison Burton. We might not be the greatest bettors in the history of NASCAR, Rod, but we've made money on Harrison Burton back-to-back weeks, so I think that should be notated in the history books.
And we also have the highest WWE references per capita in the NASCAR Gambling Podcast space.
Anybody cares about that besides Dos Flacos and I Am Notorious. But
hey, that's 2 people in the world, and that's fine by me. All right. Unfortunately, none of the winning cars that could have been winning cars, other than maybe Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson, if he wouldn't have been Kyle Larson, were under 10.5. So that did not work out for us at all. Well, for me, anyways.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Outright's Bowman 50-1. We talked about him. Busher at 40-1. Rod, not going to be there. Somebody said it. I don't remember who it was, but shout out to you. Somebody said it in our live stream when we were giving out the picks. Race is just going to be going on. You're going to look up at the end and, oh, shit, Chris Buescher's going to be in 5th place. Well, guess what? Chris Buescher finishes in 5th place basically that exact same way. So, shout out to you. Tyler Reddick, 10-1. Why? Can you explain to me, Rod, why you would go high when we know that whoever's leading can run you out of space at the top into the wall when you clearly have a much faster car on better tires and they're concerned about running out of fuel? I
can't.
Okay. Anyways, Tyler Reddick at 10-1 definitely had a shot at the end of this, but unfortunately it does not cash. Chase Elliott 850. Yeah, I mean, he really didn't have a chance throughout the day. Like, he was okay. He was a top 5 car kind of throughout the day, and then obviously spun out like 8 times. But The Reddick one could have saved the day so much. If Reddick would have got around Logano there. But that's how it goes, Rob.
Listen, at that point, I think they were literally all just throwing darts against a wall going, all right, and our strategy is don't pit. Joey's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. No, the dart's right there. It says don't pit. So, all right, fine. We're just going to stay out. I wonder though, Cody, I do wonder. I wonder now because obviously hindsight's 2020. We know that Kyle Larson didn't run out of fuel though, because he didn't. He messed up. That was him at the end, right?
No, he did run out on the restart.
Oh, that's right. Because he did say he kind of sputtered. Yeah, but
and you could tell because it just never went.
Yeah, but I sometimes wonder though if some of these guys would have tried to stay out, that maybe it would.
Yeah, like you wonder. And thank JDK. I meant to open the show with this and say congratulations to Scott Dixon for winning the race. He says Joey Dixon Logano because the fuel saving and I heard Denny was talking about it on his pod today. That if you notice, like the Chevys all ran out first. So they're obviously running more horsepower. Then it was all the Toyotas. And then Fords were dropping last, like Briscoe runs out. But Logano, and Denny talked about it, his crew chief talked about it too on Twitter. Like he was actually just going slower than everyone else throughout the race later. So it must have saved stuff. And like Denny said, not all of the reservoirs are going to be exactly the same. Different setups use different things. And so, it shouldn't have probably made it that far. But, that's how it goes. JDK says, I love how Gabehart called him slow. Like, but he won. Sometimes the tortoise beats the hare, Rod, right?
Slow and steady.
Morning news music checking in. Harrison Burton back-to-back is really something. Also, it's logical to bet any other manufacturer if they're given around plus 300. Ford keeps happening. I mean, it's been like that's the thing too, is it's been so unpredictable lately. Like it's crazy. We've had 11 winners in 19 races, Rod. Like,
and they're all locked into the playoffs, Cody.
Yeah, all of them locked in. When we get to 20 winners in 26 races, they're all going to be locked into the playoffs, which is not possible. But we're going to Jeff Gordon it and add a playoff spot, I guess. But I mean, it's really fucking hard to predict NASCAR right now. Like, and that's a great thing. That's good. We love that. It's not always great for the betting part of it, but it's exciting. It keeps it fun. It's definitely a strategy to consider because obviously all the manufacturers are capable of winning now. Like at the end of this race, it was a Chevy and a Toyota that were up there, and it wasn't a Ford that was going to win this race or that was the best throughout the day. But time and time again, we've seen it where, a guy runs out of fuel or spins and crashes with 7 laps to go or whatever the case is. It changes just how everything goes. And you end up with having that, and it gives you multiple guys in the mix. And I think the Ford's now found enough, earlier on when they had bigger numbers, we were like, no, don't, because we hadn't seen anything from them, but they figured it out. We've had all 3 Penske Fords have won now. Keselowski's won. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing to look at.
Nope. If they keep giving us 3-1, if they give us, 2.5-1, that could be something to entertain as well. Speaking of that, Ross Chastain, 8.5-1. We talked about it. Don't want to talk about it anymore. Damn, we probably should have won that race if we should have hung on. Hamlin passing him late was a kick in the gut. But then
what a great finish to the race that was too. Mm-hmm. Denny running him down, and then the 2 guys that have had this kind of rivalry and stuff. And then we go 5 overtimes later. But
I mean, that was look at all of that. All of those races for the lead were entertaining AF. Yes. Like that was exactly the reason you watch NASCAR, because that was racing. It was hard to pass. There was a pass. There was a crossover. There was a cutoff. There was a block, and then there was another move down to the inside or the outside. Like these guys weren't running away a la 30-second style. Like it was actual racing, and it was good. It was fun to watch. And sometimes, Cody, I think, because we are a gambling podcast and because there are bets on the line, we tend to sort of watch it through that lens. But, sometimes you got to take away that little bet colored goggles and just appreciate the racing that you see each week now.
Yeah, exactly. And like we talked about before, shouldn't be betting out of your means. It's gambling for a reason, all that fun stuff. So I thought overall it was high on the entertainment factor late. And then Joey Logano obviously wins the race. We didn't have any bets on him, probably because he's the hardest driver in the field to predict, Rod. But that quote unquote locks him into the playoffs, changes the bubble picture, right? Wallace was a couple of points out going into the race. Now he's 51 points below Bowman in 16th place. If we get another winner from below the cut line, that can change things a lot. So, I mean, really below the cut line now, Bubba Wallace at 51, then it's Briscoe at 78, Busch at 104, Barry at 131. Like, outside of Bubba, I don't know that anybody can, I don't even know if Bubba can point in at this point. So, you're going to have a lot of guys going all out for wins. Yeah, probably the biggest wild card on the schedule in the Chicago Street Course coming up this week, Rod. We could have a big upset winner. We've seen it happen before here. So it's going to be interesting as we go along. Obviously, we have Daytona in the mix still coming up too. Eric Jones snags a Southern 500 win, the last race of the playoffs. Yeah, you got to watch out for the things like that.
I guess it's a good thing for the rest of the field that SVG can't lock himself into the playoffs. He can win, but he's not going to be eligible for the playoffs. So I think everybody's like, okay, thank God. If he wins in Chicago, I don't care. We're still going.
Probably a few people rooting for him to win. So
there's a lot of
somebody else.
Exactly. All right, but we'll talk about Chicago, and we'll talk about it this coming week. Tomorrow, I think all the books are starting to release some stuff for us to have a show tomorrow. And then we'll do that. Cody will probably have to be solo or grab a co-host on Wednesday. I will be traveling back to my beautiful state of California, my beautiful home, and my beautiful studio, in which I can continue to crank out content in a more comfortable manner for you guys. But yeah,
it'll be nice to have you back home, Rod. Even though I don't live at home with you, it'll be nice for you to be back there.
Hey, I can turn my office into a spare bedroom if you really want to come down to California. I
I don't know what my family
we can share
it,
but bring them, whatever. There's a whole farm behind us. We could build you a house back there. Plenty of room. All right. So yes, we'll talk about Chicago coming up. And then we'll do all that. That was fun to talk through this Nashville race, even though it took 6 hours to run the whole damn thing. I mean, whatever, it was fun. The whole racing weekend was fun, frustrating, but definitely fun.
Yeah, so we moved from that wild card on to possibly the biggest wild card of the season in Chicago. So we'll cover this week for you, Rod.
Indeed, we will. All right. JDK's already talking about SVG top 3 plus 250 on Superbook.
If you're going to take that or outright, I'd probably rather take that, just to be honest with you. But,
yep. Who knows what's going to happen? Top 3 for sure. I'm thinking would happen, but all right. Well then, Cody, as we wrap up the week in Nashville, I think it's safe to let everybody go. Let everyone know where they can find you out in the wild world.
Yeah, follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. Tons of stuff, Rod. The hot dog eating contest, underdog picks are up. I got the Circa Survivor, the Circa Millions articles, some other NFL stuff. Lacrosse picks will be out tomorrow. I got an F1 article for this weekend coming up. I got NASCAR article for this weekend coming up. Actually, multiple. There's an underdog and a betting one. Lots of other stuff. Some more Arena Football League stuff coming off. The playoffs kicking off this weekend. Playoffs? So, beautiful, beautiful time. Lots of content. Make sure you check me out over at Husker_Zeeb. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling.
Find me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. I've been quiet lately because, well, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to do much outside of this and what I'm doing. But once I get back home, I'll pick it right back up again at RJ Villagomez. Find all the work I do. Link in the bio there. Happy to be in the Scott Fishbowl. Also, I'm in Scott Fishbowl 14, so you can keep up with all of my Scott Fishbowliness on that as well. Very happy to be part of that. So, all right, we'll see you tomorrow with the Chicago Cup Series picks. And until then, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for having fun with us on this Monday night. And we'll see you tomorrow. Let's go racing and let it ride.